Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, to keep you waiting for so long. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Eritrean National Commission for Democratic Change and on behalf of my colleagues in London, our support committee, to thank you all for showing up to our press conference at such short notice. As you may have been aware, we issued a press release stating our stance, stating what we stand for and what our tasks involve. And we gave not only a brief detail, a detailed explanation and description about our struggle for democratic change in Eritrea. Again, the formation of our coalition, which comprises of Eritrean political organizations and all parties, civil societies, youth and intellectual and women members and groups as well. So, and again, we stated about the state of affairs in our country in that press release. So I don't expect to give you further information now. If you need further information, I'm here to help and answer your questions. But at the same time, I strongly recommend to read our press release, and depending on that and on other information you may have, to ask us some questions. And furthermore, I would be very glad to answer your questions regarding the convening of our all-inclusive National Congress due to take place from the 20th, between the 20th till 30th of this month. Thank you again.
نحن نقدم شكرنا وترحيبنا للأخوة الحضور من الإعلاميين والمهتمين بالقضية الإريترية. الهدف من الدعوة هو بشكل أساسي هو اختار بقرب انعقاد المؤتمر الشامل وهو المعارضة الإريترية، والتي في خلال الفترة اتطورت ونمت إلى أن وصلت لهذه المرحلة. ومن خلال المؤتمر المخرجات المتوقعة هي وضع برامج وأسس واتفاقات للحكم للتغيير الديمقراطي واستبدال النظام الدكتاتوري بنظام ديمقراطي عادل يلبي طموحات الإريتريين بشكل عام. العدد المتوقع للحضور هو فيما من الإريتريين حدود فوق 550 عضو يحضر المؤتمر من كل أنحاء العالم للتداول والتفاقم في هذه القضايا المصيرية. من خلال هذا اللقاء نحن نقدم الدعوة لكل الراغبين لمن لهم الاستعداد لحضور هذا المؤتمر من الصحفيين والمهتمين، وإذا لم يتمكنوا أيضا في بحث الوسيلة الأمثل حتى نكون في تواصل معهم ومدهم للتطورات اللي حتجري في المؤتمر. هذا باختصار، وإذا في ملاحظات وتساؤل عن عن المؤتمر والقوى المعارضة اللي حتحضر المؤتمر. نحن في استعداد للتوضيح ورد على هذه التساؤلات، وشكرا.
بارك الله. نبدأ بالأسئلة ولا تعطونا البرنامج؟ ما هو البرنامج؟
نحن نتوقع منكم ناخذ بعد من الأسئلة ونجاوب بعد الأسئلة طبعا. Now the stage is open for discussion and question and answer.
So may I ask a question? What do you think inside the country, so the people's spirit and determination to change is a good followers for democracy in changing the system, or is a strong police state?
Would you tell us who you are first?
Oh, I say, I'm Dr. Wafiq Mustafa. I chair the Conservative Arab Network, and I'm invited by your colleague Ali.
Thank you very much. As far as the opposition is concerned, the opposition arena, as I said, the opposition, there is a change of, there is a paradigm shift in the opposition. It's not only the political parties and organizations who are strongly opposing the regime. It involves all the sort of a cross-section of the Eritrean society is uprising against the regime in diaspora as well as in Eritrea. But the people inside Eritrea could not voice their concern because there is very little international media coverage in Eritrea, because none of the international news outlets or media outlets are allowed to operate inside Eritrea. But the Eritrean opposition forces, they have established contacts from within the regime, within the Eritrean society in Eritrea, and the people are awakening. But as I said, the regime is in total control of the country, and all the media and the military apparatus are under its control. But sooner or later, things will change, like the change happened in our region, for example, in Libya.
If I have to say something about that question, is regime is dictatorial in nature, very repressive. All opposition so far carried inside, most of them have ended in prison or been liquidated. So, and that is why mainly the opposition against this regime is based on outside a country. And there is no chance to oppose the system from inside. It's completely, that chance is nil. So we know that people are not supportive of the regime, and this could be indicated by many factors. The fact that thousands of youth and ordinary people, whenever they get the chance, they are leaving that country. This is despite all the risks they have to face, and some of them are very fatal. other thing is we have thousands of prisoners of conscience being incarcerated without trial and without a fair judicial measures. So in such situation, the only people that can speak out loudly are those people who are outside the country. We, the opposition, that we are outside the country in different parts of the world. So in other words, we are just reflecting the opposition of the people, and we are saying what they cannot say normally.
So does he have spies in this country? For example, Arab governments used to have their listeners in meetings like that. Used to have, Libyans, Egyptians. They always got one or two from the embassy. I mean, do you have the same type of thing? Infiltrators, you could say?
I think it's inevitable, and it's common sense, let alone in diaspora. Even within the opposition, we might have people who infiltrated us. Even the CIA and big governments like the British are not immune from that, and we all know about this. But we're not very concerned about this sort of infiltration or about government informers or people may defect at any time. But what we are concerned about is the people are rising and people are ready for change. We represent the will of the people. We think the people should be given a chance to determine their fate and their will, and that's what we stand for at the end of the day.
My language, I apologize, my language is not very good. I'm from Germany. I speak French, but I will try. I am Bayto Abu Halacha. I am philosophy critical on the Secretary General of the Solidarity Council between nations and people. What about the essential steps to realize, to make the democratic change? Do you have a practical idea to do it? Or this is just a theory till now? يعني ما هي الخطوات الأساسية اللي تعتمدوا على
مفهوم السؤال.
The opposition previously, in the past 20 years until 1999, they used to operate single-handedly, and it was only reflected by certain factions who started the Eritrean army struggle against the occupiers, the Ethiopians, in the 1960s. And when those factions were driven away from the battlefield of Eritrea by the incumbent regime in Eritrea, they continued to oppose the regime even after independence because they knew already the nature of the regime. But in 1999, they formed an alliance of the opposition, like the solidarity of those opposition groups that were denied to return back to Eritrea and exercise their democratic rights of assembly, of association, of forming a political parties. Because they were denied all these basic rights, which were enshrined even in the charter that the regime itself wrote, so they continued to oppose the regime, and through this umbrella of solidarity in 1999, they started to gather. And again, this developed into another solid umbrella in 2002. In 2002, and again from that, it also further developed into an Eritrean Democratic Alliance in 2002. It was formed from the main opposition factions consisting of 12 strong opposition organizations and parties. However, there were lots of attempts by the opposition forces to convene a national conference, and this national conference is not only to call all the political parties and oppositions only who have political agendas or political programs. It also involves calling for Eritrean intellectual thinkers, youth, women, all groups, a cross-section groups from the society. So there was a paper presented about this in Kassel in Germany, which is famously called the Kassel Manifesto, and there was a clear idea how we can be successful in delivering the change that we want, how we can draw a roadmap that included all these stakeholders. And at the end, we decided to hold and call a first Eritrean national conference for the first time in our history. So it was convened by last year in Addis Ababa, from the 29th of July up until the 8th of August. And a lot of Eritreans from all across the world convened there, flocked to Addis, and they were reflecting the diversity of Eritrea in terms of age groups, in terms of ethnicity, in terms of religion, in terms of political affiliations, ideologies. And from that meeting we discussed, as we mentioned in our press release, about things that matter in the documents. So one of the main things was about means and mechanisms of change. We discussed briefly, and this is the essential tool. So we should know where we want to go and how we want to do it. So we discussed in detail on those workshops during this national conference about the ways and means, about the means and mechanisms of change, whether it's through diplomacy, whether it's through financial means, whether it's through propaganda and media. So we use different tools to get our message across, and those mechanisms are very efficient and very effective in terms of social aspects, in terms of economical aspects. So we are doing a lot of things that are showing impacts on the regime on our part. And on the other part is we are collaborating with international governments and non-governmental organizations, neighbors, based on our common values, on our strategic grounds and interests. We work relentlessly to achieve our just cause. And this is also another step. The convening of the all-inclusive National Congress is also a bigger step than we were last year. This time we call it inclusive, all-inclusive, because there were a few parts that were absent at the time, and one of our tasks was as a commission. The commission was formed as a result of the national conference last year.